What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Lewis over here at Martial Artistry. I am just getting going. It's about 6 in the morning. I'm getting prepped on another Galaxy project. I know it's been a while, so hey, stay tuned. We're going to get right into it with mixing paint, for these custom clouds. And then we're also going to get into laying out this project. I got a little surprise at the end for you, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's get straight into it.
All right, we're starting out with some 4011 reducer from Createx Paints. I get a lot of questions on what kind of paint that I use. I'm a water-based system guy. So here we've mixed up about 22.5 milliliters of 4011 and then 2.5 milliliters of white paint. So a 10-to-1 ratio. Off camera, I went ahead and base coated the whole canvas black, laid out some stars, and had started to lay out the galaxy and realized I wasn't recording. So brought it back in here to the office, and I'm taking one of my texture effect stencils, and you'll see I'm just laying out the clouds. So I do a little bit with the texture effect stencil, and then come back in and do a lot of freehand to try and start to get a body of what do these clouds look like. I want to give them enough depth so they look three-dimensional at the end of the process. So in order to achieve that, you really have to take your time and understand that you're going to be layering this multiple times. You'll go with white paint, then you'll come over it with color, then you'll add highlights. You may want to tint it and blend it with a second color, then go back with highlights again. So it's a bit of a process. So this initial step is just giving you a body of, hey, where are the clouds going to be laid out on your canvas? I personally like to use a variety of different textured effect stencils. These I got from Coast Airbrush. They are a Gerald Mendez textured effects series. So I have two separate series, and one is a large set, one is a small set. So the large set you'll see me use to kind of base out the large section of clouds. Then you'll see me go back in with these. This is the smaller of the two sets. This allows me to really get in there and give a lot of detail in those areas that I really want it to be defined. If you haven't done so, please take an opportunity to go hit that like button. Definitely go subscribe. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you have an opportunity, please share this video with someone who might benefit from it. Also, all of the links to the products that I'm using are going to be listed in the description below, with the exception of the canvas panel. So I'll let you in on a little secret that I do pretty frequently. I get all my canvas from over at Ross. I am able to go over there first thing in the morning and have my run-of-the-mill pick of all the different sizes, and usually I can get packs for under $10 where I can get 5, 6, 7, 10 canvas panels all at the same time. So you have an option to go do that. I know I really go on a search sometimes to get good supplies, and I use my Createx sealer to seal the base layer and then lay black on top of that when I do my galaxies. We're still working with this 10-to-1 white ratio, and as you can see, things are building out pretty quickly. I'm using a little freehand, I'm using a little textured effects stencil, so I'm building this out. As you can see, it's starting to become more defined, and then I'll add in little wisp clouds here shortly. I oftentimes will lay in stars at the beginning of the process and then layer them in waves after I lay in color. So here I'm just adding some bigger stars, smaller stars, a variety of different sizes. The reason for that is at the end, during the process I should say, you're going to cover all these stars, and so you're going to have to do this multiple times. So what I do is I lay out the bigger ones, and I'll from there lay my clouds in a way that those stars will highlight these clouds. So you see the biggest star in the middle, and then you see these smaller stars off in the distance. Well, I'm building these clouds now around those stars. It gives me kind of a roadmap. Okay, I need to lay out clouds in this area, in this direction. The light needs to be reflecting this way. So you'll start to see me build the galaxy around those stars. As a newer airbrush artist, I gotta tell you, the hardest part for me was learning to be patient and layering. So this is a very long process, and you need to understand that it's not going to be done right away. And that was the hardest part for me as a new airbrush artist. I was not taught in a formal way, and so the way that I am sharing with everyone today is the way that I learned to do this, just based on trial and error. There is no right or wrong way when it comes to your artwork, and you have to remember that. There's no perfect format for you to go through and create a brand new piece of art every single time. So you're gonna make some mistakes, you're gonna learn along the journey, so just make sure to stay patient. I'd love it if you could tag me in some of your artwork and let me know if in the comments below if there are some things that are helpful, or if you have questions, I'm happy to answer. Again, be sure to hit that like. It definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm, and go subscribe to our channel. We appreciate everyone's support. We're going to be uploading some new content here shortly with an exciting project. I'm very excited about this upcoming. It's a snow globe tumbler. It was something that I wanted to try last winter, and I'm going to be trying to come up with a series of these snow globe tumblers. So in the background, you can see I'm laying out a planet. I wanted to use some texture inside, but I'm going to be going back over this later. At the end of the video, stay tuned to see how I kind of made this come to life. This video was brought to you by Martial Artistry. If you click on the link in the description, we're going to have a coupon code on the website to give everyone a 35% off with their purchase for the month of February. So make sure to click the link below, and let's get back to it. Now comes the fun part. Now we get to add in some color. I went with a yellow ochre for this initial color. I'll be adding in some purple to give me the darkest spots next. We're going to go back over this with the whole thing with color, and then we're going to come back and highlight. So I want to take a minute to just talk about my process. I've had a question just in the last week about how do I come up with my colors for my galaxies. So I have my own color palette that I choose to work with. I am not working from a reference photo in this example that we're using today. I totally made this up out of my brain, and so I don't really have a reference photo that I'm working from in this example. So for me, I wanted the brightest spots to have a highlighted warm tone. The rest of the painting, I wanted to have cooler, darker tones, blues, purples, that sort of thing. So I have a couple of colors that really just work well together, and it took a lot of trial and error to figure out, okay, this color blends into this color blends out lighter into this color. So I have a color palette that I have selected for all of my galaxies. I pretty much use the same, I don't know, 8-10 colors, and then I'll take and mix them together to kind of get things to blend out the way that I would like them to. So now I'm going with one of my brightest blues. I'm using a candy color so that it will mesh and blend a little better. So this one is Carib Blue from Createx Paints. The link is in the description below. The purple that I used is Deep Purple just a few moments ago. That is also a candy color. Those allow me to really tint the black that was our base coat at the very beginning. So that's part of why I say that this is a long process, because in between the candy colors, I am laying 40/40 over the top of that so that the candy doesn't bleed when I come back over it with this white. As you can see, I'm a lot closer now. I'm doing a lot of detail work with this white to give all of those highlights more depth and dimension. If you remember at the beginning, we said we're going to be going for a three-dimensional looking galaxy. So this is why we wanted to layer this out and give lots of depth and dimension. So me going over and doing this highlighting, I'm also doing these little tail wisps, like making them a little more highlighted. So it looks like those stars that I'm going in and highlighting at the beginning and highlighting throughout, those are illuminating the edges of those clouds. And then I'm able to blend back, as you can see. I do need to mention that I did go back to that original 1:10 mixture with that white paint. That's what I'm using here to do all of this highlighting and edge work. I'm just using it in a different airbrush with a smaller needle size. This allows me to get much closer. I'm able to get all of my little stars. I'm able to get all of these fine pencil-like lines with great precision. This layer of clouds that we're working on now will really give you some depth and the ability to play around with where you want your highlights, where do you want your main focus to be guided on the page. You know, the viewer is going to look at the brightest point first. So that's why I said I want the highlighted areas to be that yellow ochre, and then all of the rest of the colors will be cool or dark. The reason for that is because I want their attention to be on those highlighted yellow areas. That's where I want the majority of their attention to be directed. I strategically place these on the page in specific areas that I want them to look first. So this area that I'm working on right now, you see I'm brightening it up very bright. That's the area I want them to look first. I want them to look over near the planet. I'll have something else in that area later, but I want it to be the brightest area of the painting. Look at it kind of like you're taking them on a visual tour. All right, guys, here we are at the end. I added in a little HD stencil just to brighten this up. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, ring that bell for all the notifications, and we will see you next time. Peace out.